for having me.
Thank you for throwing your hat in the public arena. It's been fun so far, huh?
So far, so good.
All right, good deal. You know everybody here. Basically, the way we lay it out, just have an open remark, and we truly do appreciate you running for office and putting your name out there. I think everybody knows we need to make some changes. Candidates open up to 5 minutes. We're gonna have 30 minutes of questions. And candidates closing up to 5 minutes. So everybody has the same rules, and we stick pretty much to that.
Okay.
After your opening, what we'll do is go around the table, and everybody gets to ask a question, and we'll keep circulating around until
Tell me more now.
till you're worn out. Until the timing is up, 30 minutes. Larry's gonna be the clock keeper there.
Okay.
And with that, what we'll do is we have our own set of questions that we've developed, and also the questionnaire. So we will probably refer to both of them during questioning. So
Okay.
with that, did you want to start off, Larry?
No,
Ronan, let's just go around this way.
okay, he's not gonna do his 5
I'm
minutes?
sorry, do your 5 minutes.
I'm not going to spend I'm not going to spend 5 minutes. I
But you
don't.
have up to 5.
I don't want to talk that much about me. I'd rather get on to the issues.
Okay.
Everybody knows that I'm pretty sure that I'm a native Texan, Vietnam Gulf War, disabled vet. I never thought I'd get into politics as far as running for office, but even while I was in the military, I did a lot of things to voice my opinions, and one of them was the pro-life movement in Colorado. A number of other things throughout my career, but between the pro-life and the gun movement, those were my two big issues while I was on active duty and reserve duty. I got out off of active duty after my first wife died, and spent 5 years on the outside. Bought a business, ran it for quite a while, and then went back into the Air Force Reserves, and then retired from there in 1997 with 100% disability for injuries that took place during duty. And when I moved to Texas after that with my 2 daughters, I started getting involved with the Republican Party. And then the only major groups that were out here were women's groups. So I started in with some of those to include the Montgomery County Republican Women's Club, the Texas Tea Party Republican Women, and then I also volunteered at the Pregnancy Assistance Center. There were a number of issues and things that I worked on. One of them was the hospital district. I carried a lot of petitions, got a lot of signatures for that. We were trying to dissolve the district because the hospital district was running amok with the funding, the board that was in there. And we didn't do away with the district, but we did manage to make a lot of changes, got a new board in there, and a lot of the stuff that was taking place stopped and started becoming more transparent. One of my big issues was the building that they were in. They bought for $5 million and then ended up selling it for $4 million for a loss of over $1 million to the taxpayers. And that really irritated me because their comments were they couldn't maintain it, the facility itself, building maintenance and exterior maintenance, and they also couldn't lease out the property. And
You got 1 minute left.
I left that alone, and then when they decided to build a new building, they were talking about an $11 million project. I'd had enough, and I had to get involved. And the board member that was there in my area was leaving, so I decided to run for that position and got on the board, and I've been making changes ever since I got there. I didn't think I'd go any further, but there's a definite need to make some changes in Montgomery County, and that's what I'm looking to do.
All right.
Am I first up? So the county does a lot of tax abatements for businesses mainly. What is your view of tax abatements? How should the county handle that sort of thing? You as county commissioner, how are you going to tackle with that issue, and why would you do it that way?
I have a number of problems with tax abatements. I understand the need for economic development and bringing in big companies. If you're a deprived area that you're not doing well economically, we don't have that problem. If they want to come here, we should open our arms and welcome them in, but we shouldn't give them everything that shouldn't give them open. And I have a problem with it because we do that for large corporations, but we don't do anything to help small businessmen. And the small businessmen are the ones that are the backbone of the county and the state and the nation. And we don't help them at all with anything, any subsidies or any tax abatements at all. And I think if you're going to do it to one, it ought to be across the board for everybody.
So since the economic boom is happening, do you foresee you supporting any tax abatements for the next few years? And is there any merit in looking at the current abatements to see if they're following through with their agreement on both sides?
I have looked at some of the abatement agreements. The Walmart shopping center was not shopping center, but the warehouse was probably the biggest one that we did there in East County, and it's turned out to be very lucrative for the county, for the taxpayers by giving them the abatements. I mean, it was just a period of time that the taxes aren't there, and then when they come, they're massive. So it's I don't know.
Okay.
All right. What are the three top areas in your mind for the budget? What needs to be adjusted?
I've looked at the budget. I don't want to say it's a cop-out to be able to get in there to be involved with it, but I did the same thing with the hospital district. Until I was there, I couldn't look at it from the inside and see what needed to be done. We need more money for law enforcement. We don't have enough cops out there. The crime is increasing, and I don't want to cut the budget there. I think there are ways that the overall budget for the county can be cut, not necessarily for Precinct 4. One of the ways is the current commissioner, Ed Reinhardt, has done a great job with outsourcing the road repairs, and instead of doing it with county employees, it's contracted out to small businesses, and it's saved the county millions of dollars over the long run for doing that. That's an issue for the entire county that I think that it would be nice if the other commissioners would get on board doing that. I don't have a big specific cut for other departments. Some of the other departments are doing well by cutting back their own budgets, and we see it every month in the commissioner's court. I don't remember all three because I didn't write it down. What was the rest of the question?
No, that was it. Just
Okay.
3 areas for budget adjustments.
Okay.
So,
You on next?
Did Reinhardt put out bids, the customary 3 bids for that?
Yes, sir.
Is that,
Right.
isn't that a state mandate law?
It is, yeah, and he did that for the road repairs. Not, that hasn't been done on everything within this county, unfortunately. Joe Corley facility and the mental health facility are 2 prime examples. There's been a problem with that for quite a while now.
Okay, Jeff?
Okay. What are the balanced budget rules for Texas counties in general and for Montgomery County in particular? And how or when would you balance the Montgomery County budget and pay off debt?
Well, that's a big question. I don't know what all the rules are for it. I think the budget ought to be balanced, no different than what we have on our own personal lives. You can't do like, for instance, the school district does. To balance the budget, you increase the tax base, or not the tax base, but increase the taxes. That's not the proper way to balance the budget. I don't know what you're looking for in that.
Okay, well, that's kind of generally speaking what I'm looking for. Brian?
So the immigration issue is kind of a very complex because businesses need laborers. There's a lot of people, how do you get them out of here? And then you're dealing with, there's federal, state, and local levels. But at the local level, the county level, how would you deal with that issue? Explain kind of why you would deal with it the way you're recommending.
Well, where we've got immigration problems, if we've got illegals that are working, if they're here, they're illegal. I mean, it's cut and dry. I mean, if to justify, be able to say that, well, we need them to be able to work, or for them to say that, well, we came here so that we could feed our families, they broke the law to do it. And we can't allow it with the county government or with the state government or the federal government. It's no different than me deciding that my wife is dying of cancer and I can't pay the bills, so I'm going to go rob the bank. I'm still breaking a federal law. It still needs to be punished.
So, and what are you gonna make any big pushes one way or the other on it? I mean, because here's the issues that we face with. So we get in a car wreck with an illegal,
Right.
and our insurance eats it,
Right.
and they don't get a ticket, and so we're out dry,
Right.
So it's our fault.
Right.
Or, they're getting all these welfare benefits,
Right.
Lone Star cards and such, and we're paying for it.
Right.
So, and then ICE won't take, and they just turn them loose. So, what's your plan? What's your thoughts? What can be done?
Well, we had a community in northern Texas. The city made it illegal to rent to illegals. It also made it illegal for you to hire them. It's already a law. It just needs to be enforced. We can't continue to give everything away like we're doing. And the idea that we have to have them here because there's jobs that nobody else will take is just, it's wrong. There's a number of construction jobs that are out there that people would like to have, but they can't because they're not part of the Hispanic mafia that's out there that you're not going to get on a job site. We've got a number of things that are taking place in the community that people don't even think about. Building is one of them where they're, I don't know if I want to go into that or not. It's got to be stopped. We need to enforce the laws that are there. If they're picked up, Conroe is a sanctuary city and it shouldn't be allowed. It shouldn't be allowed in the county. if an officer pulls them over, they don't have a driver's license, they don't have insurance, they don't have titles and registration, their car gets impounded and they go to jail. That's the way it should be. ICE will pick them up if they go to the county jail. At one time it was 11, there had to be 11 of them, and they'll transport them to Houston. They were transporting them, but as soon as they get them there, they would let them go. We don't have any control over that.
All right, what's your position on toll roads?
There's a good point and there's a bad point for toll roads. I have a real problem when we have Interstate 45, Interstate 10, Interstate 69, which were all built with public funds, tax dollars. We have HOV lanes that were there, and now these HOV lanes have turned into toll roads. That's wrong. We've already paid for it. We as taxpayers have already paid for those roads, and they should not be toll roads. If we're building a toll road and the people are willing to pay the fees for that toll road, then I don't have a problem with the toll road. We haven't had but one toll road in the state of Texas that ever paid for itself and opened up into a free road, and that was Interstate 20 up in Dallas. The problem that we have here with Metro, for instance, is that every time they do something, they build the money up and then they expand more toll roads, and they're using that as a base to build more roads, but they're also building a bureaucracy that's unbelievable. And the Metro Fund takes care of the little choo-choo train in Houston and the buses as well that are not self-sustaining, and so it's got to pay for that. It's got to pay for all the wages for all the people and everything else. So the bureaucracy there, we don't have any control over that here in Montgomery County. Montgomery County does have a toll road authority. We are going to be working with Houston and TxDOT for 249 to expand that. A short portion of that is going to be with Montgomery County as well.
Can I have a quick follow-up?
Yeah, since Brian did.
Okay, just make sure I understood you right on one. So you don't think toll roads, or you think toll roads should become free once you're paid off? Is that
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
The other thing is HOV lanes you mentioned.
Right.
My understanding is all of those have become hot lanes, so they're still free to the high occupancy vehicles.
They are.
Are you okay with that, or do you have concern about that as well?
Well, no, they were designed as high occupancy vehicles, but we're charging tolls on that same thing now. So if you want to go through as an individual with one person in the car, you're going to pay a toll for
Right.
it. On that same road, if you had two people in the car, you're not paying a toll for it. However, in Interstate 10, for instance, on the weekends, there's no HOV lanes. It's
Right.
strictly toll road. Taxpayers paid for those roads. They shouldn't have to pay for them again.
What, how is the current commissioners, how do the commissioners that in their precincts don't have as big a population and the biggest expense as the Woodlands, how do you think that they justify or not justify the Woodlands getting the biggest part of the pie? Is there a set rule, or is there a set understanding, or?
I know that 2 years ago when they tried to pass the road bond for $200 million, they were going to split that up 4 ways. Each precinct was going to get $50 million. It didn't matter what the needs were. They didn't come together and plan it. Each commissioner was just going to get $50 million. There was no plan on it in each one of the precincts to even spend it. I don't know, when you look at the dollars, South County gets the same amount of dollars as the other sections get, even though South County's got more people in it than what the other 4 districts do, the other 4 precincts do.
What would be your suggestion on
How to divvy it up equally?
or should you divvy it up equally?
Well, no, because each district, each precinct has their own different problems. But law enforcement, we need more law enforcement in South County than we do in the other parts because of the population. And so money should be diverted into that as well.
We're at the 15-minute left. Paul?
Okay. Thanks. If there's a decrease in property valuations, will you vote to increase the property tax rate? In other words, if the market goes down.
If the market goes down, then you have to, I can't say yes. It depends. If you can balance the budget without it, then no. Lately, we've been dropping, the hospital district, we've been dropping our tax rate, but because of the market evaluation, we're getting an increase in revenue. That's a good thing. If it turns around the other way, you come to a point where you can't break even, you're gonna have to do something. You've gotta have the money to operate. We're not losing people, we're not losing the responsibilities that we have. We're still gonna have to worry about safety and security, we're still gonna have to worry about the roads, we're still gonna have to worry about, the things that the government's supposed to take care of. Those are the 2 biggest.
Okay, and in the same breath, as the property assessments increase, giving government, of course, a bigger piece of the pie, should tax rates decrease so that the tax revenue remains constant or grows at a reasonable rate?
Yes.
And what is a reasonable growth rate for tax revenue? Do you know?
I don't remember the formula. I can't memorize this one, but it's to do with the population and the increase in the population as well as the inflation rate.
Okay.
So, on the water, recently, I think there's a water pipeline going from Lake Conroe to the Woodlands, to provide their water sources. That was a huge bond loan,
Yes.
and the voters didn't get to vote on it. What do you, and the population is growing quite a bit. We're having a need we're taxed to death, but the county is growing. How do you balance that? What do you do?
Well, number one, you shouldn't be spending the money, especially for millions of dollars that were spent on that without it coming to a vote. The people having some say in it. There's a lot of things that are happening with the water, with San Jacinto River Authority and the Lone Star Water Conservation District, and it's been looked into a lot. Unfortunately, there's not much transparency with those agencies. The idea of selling water credits like they do the carbon credits, it's kind of frustrating. All the municipalities have started getting taxed by San Jacinto River Authority and Lone Star, a tremendous increase, which is turning around and making it more expensive for the homeowners and the business owners as well. When you have an organization that controls your water that doesn't answer to anybody, it's a board that's appointed, they're not elected, there's not much you as a taxpayer can do other than revolt and petition the government and try to get it changed, but you can't kick these people out of office that are making these decisions, because they're appointed.
I understand. It's frustrating.
Okay.
All right, let's go for a personal question.
Okay.
What do you think the salary should be for the commissioner's position?
I don't know. If the salary was the same as the state house at $700 a month, I'd still take the position. The salary's not a big point for me. The commissioners control the finances for the entire county. The the four commissioners and the judge. And there's people in the county that are making more money than what the commissioners are that are employees. I think that the amount that the commissioners make is more than adequate for this area.
All right.
Any more? Ken?
Nope.
No? Okay.
Did I answer it, or?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I'll pass, go ahead, Joe.
Okay, covered those. Let me come back to the tax rates, as far as property valuations. There's various taxpayer groups in the county that want seats on the appraisal board. What's your opinion of that concept?
I'm not sure how the appraisal board is set up. I believe it's appointed positions. And I think that the positions should be spread out so that you don't have one. That's one I don't know enough about. I don't know who appoints them, whether it's the commissioners that are appointing those. It's another. I'm not sure that that's one that you can actually have elections for. But there should be a cross of different people that are on that board.
Okay. How will you improve the transparency and access to financial and other records within the county?
I think everything should be out there.
What do you mean by
The check registry should be online. They should be able to access that. They should be able to access any money that comes in from the taxpayers. They should be able to see what their money was spent on. There shouldn't be anything hidden from them. You shouldn't have to get file the paperwork to get Freedom of Information Act to get this stuff. It should be there, and you should be able to just go online and say, okay, they spent this much, and why did they spend this much? Where did it go?
8 minutes left.
that? Okay, fine.
So there's an association of Texas counties or something like that. There's an association that where every county
There's a
will
number of different
pay
ones.
a fee for services, and they're kind of like a coordinator for the counties. Some people, there's a kind of a disagreement as whether that's a beneficial or harmful organization, whether the taxpayers tend to say that they fight against the taxpayers, and the counties tend to pay those taxes and help the counties know how to navigate to get more money. What's your view? Are you familiar with that situation, and do you plan to vote for or against?
Like
joining?
HGAC.
Yes. I think it's Texas Association of Counties.
So there's a number of the things. Anytime that you're paying you're using taxpayers' dollars to fight the taxpayers is wrong. So if they're doing something, and again, it's, something that's going against the desires, wishes, the votes of the taxpayers, it shouldn't be taking place. I know they come together and try to figure out, planning is, I don't have a problem with that, but when they start spending money for lobbying and for lawyers to get around things, it shouldn't take place.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, what's your position on red light cameras?
It shouldn't be there.
Because
It's an invasion of privacy. It's, you know, I look back to the times when I was a cop, and even now when I ride along with some of the other law enforcement agencies here, when you have a regular traffic stop, somebody runs a red light or a stop sign, 9 times out of 10 you're gonna find something else that's wrong. They're running from something, in a lot of cases, not in all cases, but I've been out there and somebody ran a stop sign and we ended up arresting them because they had 6 different warrants out for them. It's sometimes it just happens, people run it, but it shouldn't take place. Not only that, it's a drain on the taxes. It's not a money-making thing. That's what it was set up to do. It's not. There's no part of it that's for safety. It was strictly a moneymaker, and it's been a pool of like throwing money down the toilet.
John, go ahead. Got 4 minutes.
4. Do you oppose the use of public funds other than that need for infrastructure to subsidize the cost of private facilities such as stadiums, arenas, hotels, and other such entities? That's your softball of the night.
Yeah. Yeah, we shouldn't be using public funds. We shouldn't be using taxpayers' dollars for anything like that. It's always been a problem with building somebody else's business up for them. If there's a profit in it, let them make the profit. Let them make the investment. Don't make the taxpayers do it.
Okay, that was the slider. Now comes the hardball.
Okay.
What amount of road bonds are needed for Montgomery County, and why is that
I don't know.
appropriate amount?
I don't know what the amount of road bonds are. We have not had a central planning. There's been no areas where all 4 of the commissioners have come together with TxDOT, and with the commissioners themselves, and come together and planned out what we need for roads. There's just been no planning. And that's part of the problem why the $200 million bond didn't go through, because each one was gonna get $50 million, but they didn't know what it was gonna go for. They just know it's gonna go for roads. You can't, when you've got things like, we know that we're gonna have to widen out Highway 242, for instance. We're either gonna have to build another bridge beside that, going over San Jacinto River, or we're gonna have to build one over it, or something, but you cannot continue on with a 2-lane road there. That's gonna cost millions of dollars.
Okay, you got 2 minutes.
for my question?
Yep,
Or
question and answer, 2 minutes.
pass.
Ken?
All right, what do you think the role of religion or moral values should have in politics?
Well, you can't have laws without having religion. That's where it started. God gave us the law, and we're to abide by His law first, and that's where it all started. Morality and everything.
I've got one. So there's been a lot of talk about changing the property tax, removing it basically and
I would
funding
love
it.
to do away with property tax. I think it should be abolished and we should go to, sales tax.
So increase the sales tax.
Increase the sales tax and do away
and
with
lower the
property
property
tax.
And why? Why that?
Well, for a number of reasons, but you never own your home. With, even if you pay it off, you're constantly gonna have to pay the taxes for it. So it's never yours.
Okay. He's kind of. Okay,
That's it? Okay.
It's David.
All right, next phase is that David? No?
Yeah.
Go ahead, and why don't you give your closing?
Hi, how are you?
and then, got up to 5 minutes. And how are we gonna do this?
Want to close that door?
Yeah. Okay, good for it. Closing.
Okay.
5 minutes, up to
We've,
5 minutes.
we've had a number of problems within Montgomery County. The counties themselves, within the state, owe $320 million. That's $1 billion, I'm sorry, in debt. It's gotta stop. The spending's gotta be curtailed. We've got to make changes. We've gotta balance the budget. We've gotta have better infrastructure. We've gotta have better planning. I've got the background with the budgets, with construction, with every part of it to do this job. And I look forward to doing it. I look forward to serving the public and continuing on my public service that I did throughout the military and continue on with the hospital district.
Okay.
Will you have to, when will you have to resign from the hospital district?
They'll have their elections in November. And
Not this year, not this November.
no, the following,
Next.
right. So any time after I win in the primary, I can resign, or I can stay on until the December election. Because I won't be sworn into this position until January 1st.
Is that a paid position?
No. It's a full-time position for me, but it's not paid.
Any more questions? We've got basically a few more minutes if there's any other.
You said 320 billion in debt. That was state or county?
That's counties. The
Okay.
counties and municipalities in Texas are $320 billion.
Oh, okay. All counties.
All
Okay.
counties. No, not just Montgomery
Okay.
County.
I was
All,
gonna say,
no, not us. I mean, it's everything. I've got the paperwork coming from the comptroller's office. I ordered it today to find out exactly where we're standing.
And or do you know where we are in relation to that total?
We've got a chunk of it. We've got a chunk of it.
What's your view of the Tea Party and involvement in Tea Party?
Involvement in what?
In the Tea Party movement?
My involvement in it?
Mm-hmm.
I helped start the first one. We had one.
You mean in Montgomery County or
In Montgomery County.
America? Okay.
No, and we had one of the largest events in the nation. And then a year ago, helped to start the Montgomery County Tea Party. And we just need more people. We need more people active. We need more people trying to make the changes to get our nation back.
Okay.
Will you continue with Tea Party principles
You bet.
that you're elected? And
Tea Party principles are pretty easy. The Oath Keepers principles are a little harder. God's word's even harder, so I'm striving to do all of those.
Well, the three primary that kind of constitute our core principles. You remember what those might be from that perspective?
No. No, but integrity should definitely be one of the top ones.
Okay. All right,
I'm gonna shut that door, 'cause I can't hear them talking.
well, we're done. It's 4 minutes is up. Or, so actually, there's one more minute, if you guys have some more questions.
It's been half an hour, so I'm fine.
Yeah, I was kind of jumping ahead.
I'm good.
Thank you. Good. Brian, good.
Mhm.
Larry, I'm good. Thank you very much, sir.
I'm good.
Appreciate it. You're good. Appreciate it. Thank you for coming out.
Thanks.